Hello, everyone. We're back with some more RLCraft. Just gonna jump right back into it. I haven't done much since the last time, we've been recording. So, we're just gonna kind of pick up exactly where we left off. I want to go get some more iron, maybe some more coal if I can. So we're gonna go back into that underground cave and do a little bit of mining. Well, I need to put that up. That seems important. While we are down there, you're so loud. Please. I'd like to talk a little bit about the Spartan Weapons. So, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering at this point, because of the new update, what is the best weapon in RLCraft, right? Because that's a question people asked a lot in 2.8. I think that's a little loud. Hold on. There we go. I'm pretty sure that's a question a lot of people asked in 2.8 is, what are the best weapons? Oh, okay. So I kind of want to not shed some light, but just kind of give my own personal opinion on the matter. And in all honesty, 2.9 is interesting because I don't think that the best weapon is set like in stone. I think you have much more room to argue which weapons are the best in the game. Considering the fact that I think across the board all of the weapons do less damage. I'm pretty sure. There's a brew down there. That's something I don't really want to fight right now. I could use the... No, I don't need the eyes right now. Why did I take this bread and stuff with me? I should drop that off before I get fucking killed and then lose all of my food. Where? Alright, now I can fuck you up. But most of what you're looking for is, oh, he changed the texture for the heart crystals. That's nice. It looks more Terraria now. But yeah, it's definitely more centered around. So like in 2.8, why did I do that? In 2.8, the best weapon is debatably the Rapier because it just has the highest damage output in the game. Especially with like maxed out enchantments and stuff like that. You can make a Rapier really, really fucking strong. And it's really strong in almost every situation, excluding a situation with cobwebs. Because the Rapier cannot break cobwebs fast like a saber or a greatsword can. It's also very much a single target weapon, so clouds look fucking terrible. So it's really not great for crowd control, even though to counter that statement, if you're using a Rapier that has like maxed out damage, you could make an argument that you're hitting things for so high damage. Like you're basically one-shotting 90% of the enemies that you're going to fight with a Rapier in most cases. So you could make an argument that it's still better because it has a really fast attack speed and it can one-shot things. So, you're swinging it and you can hit multiple enemies just by continuously clicking. So, do you really need the sweeping effect of some of the other weapons, like the greatsword, I don't really think you do. That said, though, so yeah, in 2.8, I think you almost never have a reason not to use a rapier. Personally, I still preferred the saber because getting a ring of free action is really rare. So you constantly have to worry about mobs that have sticky, or just, you know, running into an abandoned mine shaft or any structure that RLCraft spawns that has cobwebs or something like that. You're gonna have to be on your toes. You're mostly concerned about sticky from infernal mobs. Not sticky, I'm sorry, webbing. Although you should be concerned about sticky as well. Webbing is the one that spawns spider webs on you, so you can't move around. And like I said, the rapier can't break that, so the saber and greatsword are better fits for that situation. Also, you never know when you're going to run into mobs that happen to wear armor, so until you had something like rune piercing capabilities, you're not guaranteed to be able to one-shot things, or get the insane damage multiplier that you can get with a rapier and sharpness. So it's it's not an easy sell for me when it comes to the rapier, but I do recognize its power in 2.8. So, oh, I do not like this. I do not like this. This is way too fucking open for me. Excuse you. What? There's just a house from the village chilling in this underground area. Okay. And oh, this thing's about to break. Shit. I don't have any cobwebs on me, or any string on me. Do I have anything that I can use to make string? No. I really don't feel like going back up. Anyway, let's stay focused. There it is. All right. Yeah, let's head back up and get another sword. So, yeah, without question, Rapier is the best weapon in 2.8. So, let's talk 2.9. What are my thoughts, having played the test builds and gotten a chance to kind of experiment with some of the weapons? Honestly, I think that there is no best weapon at all times anymore, with some exception. I think that your weapon of choice is based on what point in the game you are at, right? So, for instance, I like to think RLCraft is split into a few like tiers of progression, right? And it's split into like early game, mid game, and then like late / end game. Back in 2.8, I'd say there's only end game. There isn't really like there's only late game. Like late game and end game are one and the same. But in 2.9, I think that they are substantially different. So I think there are four tiers of progression in this game right now. So you need to be thinking about what's the best weapon for the tier of progression that I'm currently in, right? And those tiers, I already said the tiers, I'm sorry. Yeah, they're early, mid, late, and end. Early game would be kind of where I'm at now. Basically, it's anything before you have diamond armor. Like, before you have 16 and everything. That's fun. Listen to those noises. You know, you're just starting out. You don't really have a lot of defensive options. You're really squishy. Pretty much anything can kill you in 1 to 2 taps. That's basically early game. Mid game would be when you have diamond armor and you're working towards getting enchantments on that diamond armor. So this is like proc 4 diamond armor, the shit that you're doing with that or getting to that point. And this is also around the time you're going to build your first like really strong weapon. So this is where you should be able to like 1 tap or 2 tap most vanilla mobs, if not completely one shot vanilla mobs, depending on the enchantments that you're using. If you want to rank these things by like things that you can accomplish, I would say diamond armor. Like early game, you're struggling with the basic battle tower. Like you have to be pretty cautious. Again, anything can 1-tap you. You're probably using the trapdoor method, which again I'll show if when I ever come across a battle tower, I'll show it off. And then mid game would essentially be that you can go into a default battle tower and clear it out without cheesing it, like without using the trapdoor method too much. You're probably still going to be blocking and everything like that. You'll probably be a little more cautious. You're probably going to have some kind of healing items with you, but you're not as worried. Stay over there or I'll kill you. But you're still likely not going to be able to kill the tower golem. That's the big thing. The difference between late game and mid game is whether or not you can actually kill that tower golem without cheesing it and consistently, right? Like, it's not like a fluke. No matter what tower golem you go to fight, you are confident in your ability to kill it. I find that this doesn't happen until I get my hands on either sea serpent armor or dragon armor. So that's why I classify it under late game. Which, you know, naturally leads into the next definition of, or the next tier of difficulty, which is late game. So, late game would essentially be you have dragon armor or sea serpent armor, whichever one suits your fancy, and it is enchanted with proc 4. You also have you either have or you're getting dragon weapons, and you should have a few of the late game baubles. So things like the Ring of Regeneration, maybe a resist ring, depending on how lucky you've been. You could get a resist ring. You could just get lucky and end up with a resistance ring if you're... Okay, good. I thought I was going to have to go back up to the surface to make another pickaxe. If you're like diligently mining and stuff like that, or you just, again, get lucky, you can find the mob that spawns the resist ring. Not spawns the resist ring, but spawns the crafting material needed for the resistance ring. Where is it? This thing. Heart of the Diamond. Yeah, this thing's kind of rare because of the mob that is associated with it. Hello, Aegis. It only spawns in lower cave levels, so you really have... I'm sorry, there's something wrong. You really have to either get lucky or just be diligently exploring caves. And the problem is that caves are really dangerous now. Well, they've always been pretty dangerous, but they're far more open the further you go down because of the cave generation changes that he made. And because of that, I don't recommend going mining until you have that proc 4 diamond armor or dragon armor and stuff like that. So the last tier of progression would be late game. This is basically not late game, I apologize, end game. This is where you're going for all of the end game baubles to essentially make yourself unkillable, right? Like you're going for god mode essentially. So this is where you're looking for the resistance rings, if you can find some. Ideally, you only really need one because you're going to also be looking for the new race rings that Shivaxi has added in this update, which are really, really cool. But you're not just looking for any of the race rings. Specifically, you're looking for the dragon race ring, which is, without a doubt, the best race ring in the game. Turns you into a dragon, gives you like a 120% damage boost or some shit like that. Something ridiculous. It also gives you access to flight for a short period of time. It gives you a dragon breath weapon. Like you can push a key and breathe fire. It's not very good. It's not very good because it uses mana and it doesn't have that high of a damage. Like it doesn't deal that much damage. He could have changed it though. It might deal more damage now, or it may scale off your magic damage. So if you're wearing armor that boosts your magic damage, or you drink a magic damage potion or something like that, it might be better. But I have 13 in this. Let me look at that. That's a beautiful thing right there. And start working towards attack. Sometimes just sitting down mining a bunch of coal and iron is really all you need to get to the levels of progression in RLCraft. I'm kind of surprised we haven't. I'm about to jinx myself. Let me not mention that thing that happens by name. You're also in game. You're going to be looking for the Ankh Charm. I do not recommend. See, okay. So the thing about the Ankh Charm, because it is a useful charm, I will not lie, just because of all of the coverage options that it gives you. But the problem with the Ankh Charm is that it uses a ring of... Is it the ring of free action? Hold on a second. It's the ring of... Yes, the ring of free action. So, the problem with this recipe is... Can you not make the ring of overclocking anymore? Oh, that's how you... Okay, I'm stupid. The problem with this is the Ankh Charm does not give you the benefits of the ring of free action. So, you aren't immune to... Or I think it does give you immunity to slowness, and it gives you immunity to levitation. However, it does not give you the ability to go through cobwebs, which I think is the more beneficial effect from this thing. So I'd make an argument that you should just keep the ring of free action and swap it out with other baubles as you see fit, right? Or just use other baubles alongside it instead of going for the Ankh Charm. But I mean, hey, it's if you're in game, you can go for both because you're going to be grinding for the final bauble that you need in your bauble slots, which is the Stone of Greater Inertia, which, good luck. I've only ever found that thing once. It only drops from infernal mobs. Not rare mobs. Infernal mobs. They have to specifically say infernal over their head. And it has a really, low spawn rate chance. So even if you end up killing an infernal mob, you might not even get it. or you might get one of the other items that are on its loot table. So it's it is not the easiest item to get your hands on, but it is definitely worthwhile if you can manage to acquire it, because the speed boost that you get from that thing is ridiculous. So it's literally always good. You never don't not want to have it. That came out beautifully. I'm sorry. So now that we have an idea of, ouch, Jesus, man, that's a bad idea. I'm not fighting that thing until I make some bolts. Oh, that's right. I need feathers still. Oh. Let me get inside and see if that Aegis is going to deal with that thing. Probably not. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so you're going to need the Ring of Free Action. Moving on. Basically, you're going to get your bauble slot completely loaded out with all of the shit that you want. We'll go into what I think are like the ideal baubles to have throughout the different tiers of difficulty or tiers of progression, because I'll be shooting for them as we're playing, so no need to really discuss that. You'll actually see it. So what are the best weapons for each of the defined tiers that I've just spent like 30 minutes or like 10 minutes describing to you? Oh my god, you suck. Hey, he gave me blaze powder though. Too hot. Hot damn. I like those. I like these new achievements. Good on you, Shivaxi. Or like quests. Okay, so if you're starting off in early game, what is... Oh, that's good. I need another chest. If you're starting off in early game, what is the best weapon? Currently, I think that the best weapon for early game is the one that I'm using right now. It's the saber. Again, you can use the saber for breaking cobwebs, which you may run into mobs that have the webbing effect, and that can really fuck you up early game. So you need to be able to deal with it reliably. There's also the fact that it gives that damage boost, and oh god, you're fucking worthless. Yeah, that's going in the bin. There's also the fact that, of course, it gives you that 25% damage reduction, and it has the armor piercing thing. So 5 damage is not a lot, but if you think about the alternative, right? So like, let's say you go for the regular diamond sword. The regular diamond sword is 5 damage with a 1.6 attack speed. Let's go back to Spartan Weapons, right? If we look at, oh, that's right, it's by stone, or by weapon, not material. Anyway, like, look at the stone spear, 5.75 damage, right? This is basically still 5 damage, okay? Like, let's not kid ourselves. Close to 6. It's probably 6 with like a crit, and it has reach 1. So the stone spear is still really good because of that reach 1. But the thing is, damage reduction is so good in RLCraft, especially in 2.9, where you're not running around with resistance 2 all the fucking time, because resist rings are rarer now. So you're not like, defense is so much more important. You're gonna think that you're more, like, that enemies hit harder, or that you're much squishier now, in this update, you're not. It's not that you're more squishy or that you're squishier. It's that, well, yeah, you are squishier. Oh, sorry. It's not that, I thought I heard dragon wings. It's not that you're, that mobs hit harder or anything like that in this update. None of those values have been changed. It is simply the fact that, what is this? Oh, that's dog shit. Oh no, I'm keeping, yeah, I'm keeping that. Why are they the same? Have they always been the same value? What the hell is the point of that? Just use chain armor. Are they all the same? No, it's just the head that's the same value, it seems. Interesting. I never knew that. Oh, ew. What's slowing me? I gotta get rid of those boots. That's better. And then protective, good. So yeah, it's not that enemies hit any harder or that armor got like substantially nerfed or anything like that. It's that you no longer have resistance to at all times, which I think is a good thing because now you have to be more cautious when you go to do things. Also, certain dungeons are now, pardon me, are now more difficult. So it's not boring going through those dungeons. There's a specific dungeon in the game that has really high tier loot. It has really, really good loot. It's like the forest dungeon or something like that. It's kind of rare, like the forest stronghold or something. I don't remember its exact name, but you know what I'm talking about. It's full of default mobs, mostly skeletons, archers, wither skeletons, some zombies, and it has illagers. Is it pillagers or whatever? It has the dudes with the axes, right? And it's a really, really, really fun and really difficult dungeon. If you're still in like diamond armor or something, but you're not gonna be. When you take on that dungeon, you're gonna be in like, by the time you find that dungeon, you're gonna be maxed out in gear because it's so rare. But this time, I don't think that that's the case. Your progression is much slower now. So the likelihood of you being maxed gear by the time you reach that dungeon is slim. So the chances of you actually going through and enjoying that dungeon, enjoying the challenge, having to actually like think on your feet and stuff like that, is increased, and that's a good thing. I think that's a great change. I wish that it was simpler, like there was a more consistent method to get the resistance ring. And I mean, I guess there is. You could just go to a mega battle tower and kill the battle tower. My apologies. Kill the battle tower golem and see if those chests contain any loot. Like any of the see if it contains a resistance ring. Sorry, my brain is trying to figure out where I'm going to go next in this cave. So like that's an option. Yeah, we're getting into some of the new cave generation, I think. Really I want to light this area up a little bit before I start digging into shit to make sure a specter or glue doesn't spawn on me while I'm mining. Okay. What was I even talking about? My train of thought is so bad. But yeah, so like Oh, that's why. Okay. So that's why the Rapier and Saber are still so good, or are particularly good in this update because hello, passageway. Um, because you're just squishier. You don't have resistance all the time. So you need as much damage reduction as you can get your grubby little hands on. Um, because literally everything is trying to kill you, and everything hits so much, like everything hits fucking hard. Um, everything's so fast. Like you need that damage reduction. So I would say for early tier or like early game, you really want to be using a rapier or saber. You could make an argument for the spear. I get it. Having reach is really nice because you can keep mobs at bay. But it doesn't reduce damage, man. And I'm gonna be real with you. When it comes to oh, it's cold in this cave. When it comes to Lycanite mobs, that reach don't mean shit because those Lycanite mobs are gonna close the gap so fast. There's no point. There's no point in having a increased reach because, like I said, they're so fast that they're gonna close the distance before you can even get a chance to make use of reach. That was a fun noise that just happened. So yeah, early game, you definitely want to go with the Rapier and Saber. Some people might say, well, what about the, great sword? Same kind of complaint. At early game, you're not using the argument that it can kill multiple mobs at one time is a very good one, I'll admit. Especially since Shavaxi fixed the sweeping bug, so in 2.8, but in 2.8, the sweeping effect of the greatsword was bugged, so it would still do more damage to mobs that you were hitting or that got hit with the sweep, but sometimes the sweeping effect wouldn't trigger. Oh shit, that scares me every fucking time. Okay. Oh my god. Let me just back up a little bit. I think if he hits me again, I'm dead. So fast. I just need to get far enough away. Okay, wait for another hit. I just fucked myself. Okay. This is nice. So, yeah, situations like that are fucked up. That spear wouldn't have helped in that situation. It just wouldn't. You'd be dead. So, I'm sorry I went quiet for a second. I had to enter focus mode. So, my game plan is break this wall, put down this crafting bench, use a band-aid to heal my head, make a pickaxe, and then dig further back into the wall with that pickaxe, break this little hidey hole that I've made, like break the cobblestone that I've put down, go attract that thing's attention, and then lure it into a more narrow passageway that he can't fit through, so I can just hit him from behind like a wall or something. Not the most honorable thing to do. Shit. I'm gonna have to break another wall. I don't have any sticks on me. Nice. But yeah, so in early game you want that saber and rapier. In mid game, I'd make a similar argument that you should probably still be using the saber or rapier. Again, damage resistance or damage reduction. Come on, it's 25%. Do you understand how much 25% is? That is the difference from being 2-shot to 3-shot. You might say, "Oh, go, wow, 3-shot, crazy." No, it gets better. The further up you get in the difficulty, like the better geared you are, the more valuable these things are. The more valuable that 25% reduction is. Well, both the more valuable it is and the less valuable it gets. Mid game, it's still really valuable. To an extent, late game, it's still pretty valuable. But in game, it loses its value. So that brings me to... Yeah, he's still chilling out, being an asshole. Okay. I need that other stick. No. Wait. Yes. Okay. Built the thing. Excellent. Oh my god, yeah, I was one hit away. Crazy. Mental. While I have this opportunity. Yeah. Man, not so tough now, are you? Now that I can use Minecraft to my advantage. And that's a big thing to remember when playing this mod pack is this is not a new game. That maybe came out wrong. But like, don't treat this like you have to play by RLCraft's rules. You can still play by Minecraft's rules. Embrace the fact that you're playing Minecraft and use that to your advantage. You can build walls, like just like you're playing Fortnite. You know, build up a wall, man. Put something down in front of you. Tower if you need to. Block shit off if you can. Like it's really strong. The fact that you can build makes you really, really strong in this game. So use that to your advantage. You don't have to just be Oonga Boonga Berserker Caveman who is just sword and shielding his way through the entire game, tanking damage or something like that. Like, build a wall. Anyway, so yeah, mid-game, you're probably still going to want to use that saber and rapier. Just, again, damage reduction. You have some wiggle room in mid-game because that's still like diamond armor and stuff. So you can afford to be a little more reckless if you really want to. And you're also going to be clearing out like battle towers and stuff. So considering the fact that you'll be going against a lot of mobs, like if you're... this is the really cool thing about the 2.9 update is weapons now have a because sabers and rapiers damage are not dummy high anymore, you now have a reason to consider using other weapons that may better fit a scenario that you're going into. And I think that is what you should do. For general use, I still think the saber and rapier are the best weapons in the game. Specifically, the saber. I think the saber is the best general weapon in the game. If you're just going out exploring, or running around a dimension, or you have shit that you have to do in the overworld, or any world, any of the different dimensions, you can never go wrong with a saber. It is the most versatile weapon, in my opinion, no matter what tier you're at. It doesn't have the highest damage, but it makes up for that damage in versatility, and I think that that's much more important, given the number of creatures that you're going to run across in RLCraft and the number of ridiculous situations you're going to find yourself in RLCraft. Just having a weapon that is a jack of all trades is really, really strong. I don't actually know if I'm pretty sure mobs that have armor now. So, oh, that's another thing. It's not just that the damage value for the saber and rapiers got nerfed. It's also that Lycanite mobs and dragons now have natural armor associated with them. So the saber and rapiers won't even be getting their damage boost because those mobs have armor. Now, does it count as chest armor? I'm not sure. I haven't checked whether or not it counts as chest armor, but I'd imagine it does, just because that would nullify both the saber and rapier at the same time, so like you might as well. But yeah, the thing, like I said, the thing that makes RLCraft 2.9 interesting is you can specialize what weapon, or you can decide what weapon is the appropriate weapon for the job that you're about to go on, and just use that alongside your main weapon. So I think that playing this game with the mindset of I'm only going to run around with one weapon, so what is the best weapon in the game, you're playing the game wrong, if that makes any sense. You should be thinking, what will be my main weapon? Like, what's the weapon that I use most of the time for general use? And then, what is the specialty weapon that I'll be using for the specific situation that I'm going towards? For instance, if you're going into a battle tower, you may consider taking a greatsword with you or a flail. The mace that does extra damage to undead enemies. Just a thought. But you could also just go into a regular battle tower with or you can just go into a regular battle tower with your saber or rapier, because default mobs don't. What the hell is this? Oh, hey friend. Top of the morning to you. Not gonna let you do that. Oh! What the fuck was that? What was that effect that just hit me? I guess that's the Chupacabra. Yeah, that's the Chupacabra's drain effect. Okay. I want that leather though. Actually, did he drop Chupacabra meat? Yeah, I need that too. What is that? Oh, it's a bat. Nah, I'm not fucking with that thing at all. I'm pretty sure in here is a spawner dungeon, and considering the fact that they're darklings, I'm not touching that because darklings can really fuck you up really fast if you're not careful. Let me use this on my head. Killing this thing will give me enough, give me the XP I need. Can he jump over this? See, a situation... Wait, think smarter, not harder. Never mind. I don't have any, I don't have any string, damn it. If I had string, I would have just built a, He could... Yeah, they can still hit me from here. Come on. Jump again. Yeah. Jump again. Come to Papa. Come on. You can do it. Whatever. It's not worth it. Alright. That's iron, armor, and weapons. We're making progress. And I lost my train of thought because that situation was kind of scary. But yeah, like, you can make argument, or you should be using other weapons where advantageous. So don't just play the game like, oh, I only need one weapon, because it's not the case. Like, make use of all possible... give yourself an advantage in all situations possible by using weapons that give you those advantages. When it comes to end game or late game, I still think you should have... This is like dragon armor and shit like that. I still think you should use a... That was weird. I still think you should use a saber or rapier. Rather, I still think you should use a saber. I'm getting really lucky with these parasites not showing up. Happy about that. And again, that's just for damage reduction. Also, by that point, you can really up the damage. You should be able to like find sharpness books and stuff like that. So you should be able to up the saber and rapier's damage so that they're actually competitive with the other weapons. And if you're putting vampirism on these things, then your life expectancy goes up a substantial amount. So, you know, it's definitely something to consider. But by the time, you're at dragon armor and stuff, at this point, you can just use whatever is your preference. I think that the spear is one of the best weapons in the game. If you're using dragon weapons and armor, the spear has a knockback on it because it's a dragon weapon, or it's a fire dragon weapon. So that means that when you actually hit something, it's going to fly back, so you can make better use of the spear's reach effect. The longsword is not too bad either if you're just looking for like a really high damage weapon. The mace is really, really good, like I said, for just clearing default mob dungeons. The throwing weapons are actually really strong. It's just that you can't use a shield with them. And I'll talk about that if I find a throwing weapon with like Razor's Edge and stuff. We'll go into like the damage values that these things can reach, because they're really high. Like they're surprisingly high damage values. Where's the Javelin? Come on. There it is. Look at that. 36 base damage when thrown. That's higher than you're going to be able to reach with a lot of the different weapons just from like base. Was there a door here? Why are you almost dead? Pardon me 1 second, I have to blow my nose. Sorry about that. Hey, it looks like something came in and broke down the door. Fun times. But yeah, so like the throwing weapons are decent. Consider them as an option. Just bear in mind that you can't use a shield with them. Other than that, like again, there are. Well, you'll probably see me use multiple different weapons as we continue to play. Just because there are so many options that you might as well just use any and all things that you can. 7. I think I'm taking that. That's nice. Minus .5 distance. I'm pretty sure that's what reach gives you. Is like half a block or a block distance. Yeah, I think I'm fine with taking a long sword. I'll be able to use this for when we find a battle tower. And then I'll just put this in my hotbar. So yeah, it's really up to your own personal preference. While that's cooking, we can talk about more of these. The hammer is... I thought the hammer had a higher damage output than that. Really? Did he nerf the hammer? Yeah, it looks like he nerfed or lowered the damage value for the hammer. This thing used to have a really, really high damage value. But now at this point... Well, I mean... 10 base damage is not bad. Given the fact that the Saber and Rapier, at this stage, base damage, are going to be doing like 7 or 8 damage. 10 isn't bad. But... No, don't use the hammer. The hammer is bad. Don't use it. The lance is okay. Especially if you can get your hands on a flying mount, the lance is not bad at all. I would still say your best weapons, the best weapons in the game right now are one-handed weapons that aren't throwable. So, the saber, the rapier, the spear, the lance, and I think that's it. Oh, and the mace. Those are your best weapons in the game right now, in my humble opinion. If you really want to do two-handed, which, again, I don't recommend until you have resist in all of your slots. Like, until you have 2 resistance rings in maybe the Shield of Honor and this iron skin close to maxed out, I don't recommend using two-handed weapons. Just because... I'm sorry, I forgot to mention this. So, two-handed weapons also got nerfed because... So, in 2.8, if you had a shield, you got mining fatigue, right? You still had the high damage value, you just had mining fatigue. In 2.9, you have 50%... You lose 25% damage per two-handed effect. So, something like the Warhammer, you're losing 25% of the damage that you would be inflicting to a mob, as long as you have a weapon in your offhand. Which means the Warhammer is debatably the best two-handed weapon. Because 50% armor, 50% ignoring armor can make up for that 25% damage reduction. Whereas the spear, like, you're losing a lot of damage reduction, but you get reach 2, so, you know. it's up to you. Plus, they have pretty high base damage values. But once you get into things like the halberd and the great sword, which have like two-handed two, there's just no point in using them. The battle axe might not be bad either. 25% damage reduction of 18 is not too much. You're still doing like really, really good damage with this thing. Where is the... I think the katana is also maybe pretty good. It's just, why would you be using the katana when you can just use a saber or a rapier for like slightly less damage? But like, fuck it, you might as well. The long sword is also a really strong option. Again, for only 25% damage reduction, the long sword is still going to be doing really good damage, even with a shield in your offhand. So it's not a bad option. Its swing speed also isn't terrible. Wow, it also has a higher damage value than the Warhammer. But again, Warhammer gets through armor. This doesn't. So, you know, it's balanced. There's a whole lot more to consider with Spartan Weapons now. Also, the Vitamins Bauble does not get rid of that damage reduction. So you will be able to get rid of mining fatigue, which means that you can swing the weapon at a usable speed, but you won't have you'll still have mining fatigue, or you'll still have the damage reduction. So it kind of defeats the purpose. You might as well just use a different weapon. Oh good, we can also make a new shield now. So yeah, you know, there's a lot to think about when it comes to Spartan weapons and stuff now. I'm sure I'll be proven wrong at some point by other people, like anyone who can manage to discover a better meta for weapons in this game. Oops. Oh well. Like, I'm sure it's out there, so it is what it is. I think we go mining. Make a axe. But again, like, once you reach late in mid-game, you can pretty much use whatever the fuck you want. It doesn't really matter. Because again, everything is mostly balanced now. So, there is no, like, best weapon in the game. And again, I think you should just use a saber as your main weapon and have a different weapon for specialized encounters, as they would say. But yeah, feel free to like look through the Spartan weapon stuff and kind of plan out what you want to do with each one. I have a lot to say on the throwing weapons because again, they're really, really good, but I will almost never use a throwing weapon solely because you can't use a shield. And you might be saying, well, you know, why are shields so important? Like, why not just run around without a shield? Because he did change the way shields work. They are no longer the absolute powerhouse item that they used to be. Which does make me sad, but hold on, I feel like there's a bauble I can make with that. Can I make the... No, because I don't have arrows yet. Okay, so I need to go find chickens. That is my new goal. Yeah, so like you might be saying like, oh well, why do you that's tough. Because I have to do this before I can use it. It's fine. I just won't have anything in my offhand for right now. Oh my god. That scared the fuck out of me. That could definitely kill me. Come on, you move so that you don't get hit by that. So yeah, I'd say just kind of experiment around, do your own thing once you hit dragon, like enchanted dragon armor, because your main goal, like at that point, is just grinding out like battle towers and stuff like that to try to get resist rings and getting the like shield of honor and shit like that.